Hello and welcome to part two of how planets can heal. In my last video, I ended with Jupiter, so now we're continuing with Saturn. So please watch the first video where I explain a bit more about what I'm focusing on here. So here I'm really focusing on the energy of the actual planets and how it plays into healing, whatever, physical, mental healing. Okay, so let's talk about Saturn. Saturn's energy is that of contraction and structure. When Saturn afflicts your personal planets, especially Sun or Mars by transit, there's less moisture in the body, and particularly the bones. So when someone breaks a bone, it is usually under a Saturn transit. Also, the onset of arthritis will happen under Saturn, like Saturn Mars, for example. You can already tell that Saturn is not typically associated with healing. In fact, it can rule illness and even death in Vedic astrology. If Saturn can heal, it is through reason, realism, and working off karma. The latter seems to be the more spiritual aspect of Saturn. Saturn's energy is that of prudence, conservatism in thought and action, and if well placed, it can produce a person who cannot be lured in with Neptune's well meaning idealism that often ends in a nightmare. In that regard, I would say that Saturn can heal some type of mental illness, namely the type of insanity that is self-produced due to irrational thought patterns that contradict itself. So here, Saturn, a good Saturn transit could really help you lift the veil on some Neptunian illusion, you know. Um, Okay, although it should be mentioned that it's not Saturn alone which produces a rational and sensible thinking, it's actually a combination with Mercury. Saturn Mercury energy is the ultimate antidote to chaotic thinking patterns, which eventually also affect emotional health. Saturn can tell you what is real and what isn't. It can tell you which alternative healer or healing method really does work and when it's just some placebo delusion, you know. So here Saturn is not against spirituality or even against alternative healing. Saturn makes things real. So if you want to do alternative healing, look for somebody under a positive Saturn transit. Maybe if your sun is trine Saturn, now you can actually find a healer who's sound, Um, Other than that, we need to look to other planets for more healing properties. Saturn itself is not typically associated with healing, because it is associated rather with illness, um, but it is associated with clarity. It can definitely create clarity in your life, and it can dissolve Neptunian illusion and can help with with mental problems. If Saturn under positive Saturn transit, you can also find the right doctor. Basically, it's a good time to find the right professional. Saturn also rules professionalism, so it would be a good time to go out looking for a doctor or alternative healer, like Sun transiting and trine on your Saturn or Sun in sextile to your Saturn. That would be quite good. Now, moving on to Uranus. So we're getting a bit closer here. Since this planet rules electricity and also innovation, healing under Uranus could lead to some new high tech that will actually help with the condition. So on one hand, Uranus does rule high tech, so you might actually find the right the right treatment. That's somewhat technology related. So that would be valid if you already have a precondition and need a modern medical treatment. Then Uranus can be very helpful here. But then again, if you are under a strong Uranus influence, and that would be conjunction or square, the most also opposition, you would feel the anxiety and tension that Uranus can bring into your energy body. For people who struggle with their weight, a Uranus transit to their moon or sun can suddenly make them skinny because of all the nervous energy. Uranus will spice up your nervous system like no other energy. Therefore, most people will benefit from taking time to either relax their nervous system or take herbs that can help with anxiety. So, because Uranus does rule electricity, you can get very jittery. You can get very anxious under Uranus. You have lots of nervous energy. Your mind is rattling and all that. So, because it does energize your nervous system, quite literally. But so some of the herbs when you're under Uranus, right, and especially at the moment, that would be people who are late Taurus, late Scorpio. You're definitely getting Uranus. People who are late Leo and late Aquarius, you guys are all under a very strong Uranus transit right now as I'm recording the video. So here are some herbal recommendations. One thing I can recommend for your nervous system that really is really soothing is passion flower, either as tincture or tablets. It's prescription free. You can easily find it at a drugstore. Passion flower is very very good here. Um, because you need, if you're under Uranus, you'll need to do something for your nervous system. Most people, at least, it'll either be most people will react. It'll definitely wake you up. This is not a sleepy transit. Uranus will definitely wake you up, so it can make you overly anxious or just feel more alive. But it's definitely not going to make you more tired. It's not Neptune. Under Neptune you can get tired or Saturn. Saturn also has the effect that it can rob your energy. Saturn can also make you very, very tired at times, but not Uranus. So you'll have to do something to soothe your nervous system. And like I say, I think passion flower is one of the best things here. Um, Other than creating lots of nervous, erratic energy, there is one thing that Uranus is good at healing, um, and that is a broken heart. One of the traits of Uranus is that he's just not very emotional. Passionate, yes, but it's not all a gentle, deep emotional energy. Uranus is very flighting, actually. Uranus can be cold and bold. He hates soapy romance and kitsch. If you have suffered of a heartache possibly produced by a dreamy, unrealistic Neptune transit, Uranus comes along and makes you feel fed up with your own emotionality. So it has a bit of a cold energy. So it can really liberate. It can liberate a person from drooling over some past love. If somebody who treated you like crap anyhow, why would you want to hang on? You don't want to hang on to people like that. So Uranus could be a very liberating energy here because it's not very emotional. Enough of that, says Uranus, and can help like no energy to let go of people and our attachments to them. Uranus energy is most healing when combined with Neptune or Pluto because Uranus itself makes it hard to relax. That's when true insight and healing can happen. So it's especially Uranus in combination with other planets. with other planets, of course, with your personal planets, but also if there's Neptune involved and Pluto, that can be quite an interesting and also very spiritual time, which is about healing, more holistic healing. So, because of its erratic energy, Uranus is also accident prone. So, you have to be careful of that because of it, it makes you nervous. It can also bring sudden outbursts of anger, especially if you've been suppressing your anger in the recent years. Now Uranus comes along, and now suddenly get angry, but then also relax shortly after. It's not long, you know. Uranus is like quick reactions. So you should let out steam if necessary, but you also have to watch out because Uranus has a potential of daredevil energy. Some people you can really ruin everything because of your temper. You know, Uranus can make you very temperamental. Okay, so much for Uranus. It's probably the most healing energy for people who have chronic fatigue syndrome. You know, with Uranus, this will really get you out of the house. So it will really help. It will really wake you up in a very positive way. So you have to let it happen. But Uranus can also be very unexpected surprises, unexpected turns of events. So you have to be prepared for the unexpected. Now on to Neptune. So now we're finally coming to the most well-known planet for healing, which is Neptune, due to its alchemical state of dissolving structure or boundaries. Neptune is indeed the ultimate ingredient in miracle healing stories. Often, often it just means that the rational mind of the person in need of healing didn't interfere with the flow of energy in the body, which regulates self healing. So let me repeat this. Um, the healing under Neptune, the miracle healing under Neptune, is often related to the rational mind of the person in need of healing does not interfere with the flow of energy in your body. Neptune can cause unconditional belief in something, whether whether this thing is idea, it can be a thing or idea is real or not. The dissolvement of conventional rational boundaries is real with Neptune, for, for good or for bad, for better or worse. So let me first dive into the ways in which Neptune works positively, meaning furthering your quality of life in the long run. The focus here is in the long run, because Neptune can also tell you to chase after illusions that simply aren't real, no matter how you try to spin it, okay? But more on that later. As I already described in my video about Neptune, it rules the realm of dreams, sleep, idealism, visions, hence its association with film or fine art or music. But the most important part to realize about Neptune's energy is that Neptune's vision can never be implemented the exact same way as the vision or dream. It simply rules the realm of the non concrete, which does not at all mean that visions cannot be implemented. So don't get me wrong. Just it cannot be implemented without the help of Mercury and Saturn. So Neptune alone is not going to implement any vision, okay? So what benefit is there from dreaming or sleeping or escaping reality through music or perhaps even substances? Well, there is one major benefit. It lets your nervous system rest and recover. Nothing nothing can have such a soothing effect sorry, on your nervous system like Neptune energy. This is also why Neptune rules meditation, the art of non thinking. To some, this may sound a little too banal, but if you think about what is the best medicine for almost all illnesses, well, it's sleep and rest, right? Sometimes a good night's sleep can help you ward off the onset of a flu or cold, or some illness. Neptune can be the ultimate antidote for nervous problems, but at the same time, it can also be the cause. It is not Neptune's energy itself that is healing, but it is Neptune who makes the veil thin, so to speak. It will make your aura more receptible towards all sorts of energies and perhaps also entities. But in its most positive form, Neptune offers a genuine escape from Saturnine reality through music, meditation, movies, daydreams, etc. During this time, the nervous system can get its well needed rest to restore itself. And this is also why Neptune's dream don't have to be realizable, and more importantly, should not be taken at face value. It will always remain an idealized abstraction. Just like fairy tales don't have to be actual realistic stories to contain a wealth of truth and wisdom. In other words, don't let Neptune blur your boundaries or your sense of what is real, but accept this energy for what it is. Without a malfunctioning Neptune in people's charts, there'd be no fraudster nor people who fall victim to some cheap scam. Both are the product of Neptunian energy, and in both cases, the person believes they can bypass what is valid for others, but not for themselves. So here is the case in both people who fall easily victim to cheap scam have the same mindset, ultimately have the same mindset as the predator here. So the victim and predator actually, Neptune, they share that. They share the belief to bypass something, right? And the rules are valid for others, not for me. So that can be one illusion of Neptune. You know? So let Neptune do its work by letting him remain in the realm of the abstract. So that was Neptune. So like I said, Neptune is the ultimate planet that you would hear or read about that's associated with healing, but it's just dissolving boundaries. It's not Neptune itself that's healing. It's allowing your nervous system to heal. I think it's more like that, you know. It allows your body to heal or your mind through your belief system, also through dissolving certain boundaries. Now let's move on. The last planet, Pluto. Now, Pluto is more or less the same archetype as Shiva, the Hindu god of destruction and rebirth. In order to make room for the new, the old needs to be destroyed. Pluto rules volcanoes and also wildfires. Both the ashes of a volcano or a wildfire serve as fertilizer in the ground. In some places of the world, there would be no forests today if it wasn't for a volcanic eruption thousands of years ago. One of the most fascinating traits of Pluto is probably that it can come on very quickly and by surprise, or extremely slow. Yeah, Pluto is fast and slow. It's quite interesting. How does that relate to healing? Well, first, this planetary energy can illuminate the deepest wounds in your psyche. Pluto also represents our shadow, and if not integrated, this shadow can turn into a monster from hell and also make you ill. Right? Often it is a repressed shadow that can cause illness. Pluto is also responsible for a deformation in the body. Its opposite sign, Taurus, ruled by Venus, which rules the golden ratio proportions. So that's Venus opposite, right? But then Pluto will take something to the extreme. That's why strongly Plutonic people, there's something like not proportional, especially if Pluto is on the ascendant. Something will be unproportional because Pluto is extreme. Pluto rules extremes. Um, so, how can we use this energy for healing, you may think, if Pluto himself needs to be healed? Well, when Pluto hits personal planets in transit, it does energize the auric field, like very much. It can be very, very powerful and can give the person, it can be give the person tremendous energy. In fact, sometimes too much. Hence the association with obsession. Also, sexuality can be very strong under Pluto. The sex drive will be stronger than normal. On a positive note, Pluto's energy is unforgiving and can lead a person to face their shadows with an attitude of bravery. So under Pluto, you don't want to deal with lies anymore. You're tired of lies. So it can make a person much more brave, also, brave and honest with themselves. If they're ready for the Pluto lesson. Not everyone is. Um, or it can also be the most helpful energy if you want to undergo a complete lifestyle change. Like no other, this energy can make you dig deeper into your psyche or into a science or other topic. This is the energy of profound research. Under Pluto, something in your life will die, and this can cause also major depression, even worse than Saturn's depression. So if you get depressed under Pluto, it's because something is dying in your life. So if you ask yourself which part is dying in my life, and often that can already help. But Pluto can also it really brings out inner demons, so to speak. It can really have a demonic quality as well. It can be very dark, okay? But it's also Pluto itself, the energy of Pluto itself is actually healing because it's more of a cathartic energy. So it can cause a major catharsis. It's also the energy of exorcism. So it is very cleansing. Pluto, in its most positive aspect, can mean cleansing of the body or mind. So it can be a very detoxing kind of energy. But what's really so it's very dark, and wait, so the person might feel like they are cursed or possessed. Now, in reality, we are all possessed by entities or surrounded by dark energy, but it is under Pluto, a Pluto transit, that you actually tap into it and it becomes conscious. Therefore, it is not advised during this time when you have a Pluto transit, don't do any occult practices. You have no idea that you're opening Pandora's box, especially if you get into darker stuff like Satanism or whatever. Especially don't do that. You're opening something that you're not aware of. Because Pluto is very black and white, he will urge you to make tough decisions, especially around the people you attract. It's either life or death with Pluto. So, in order to use this energy for your benefit, you need to make a conscious decision for life and drop all toxic contacts. So this can also help you with that. That's probably one of the most beneficial aspects, that because it is related to death and catharsis. And people under Pluto, maybe they didn't have the strength before, but now you will have the strength to let go, to really let go of certain toxic relationships. But Pluto also has an obsessive quality. It's it's quite black and white. It's very obsessive on one hand, but something will die in your life, and hopefully it's the negative aspects. Hopefully you have some control over it, because under Pluto you can feel like you're out of control. But in the most positive sense, the energy of Pluto itself, it's very strong. It's very energizing, and it is cleansing. So Pluto energy has a very cleansing, cathartic energy. Would be a good time to cleanse your colon or something. You know, you could you could you could arrange your schedule, your healing schedule, accordingly. On the day the sun hits your Pluto, that would be great for some kind of colon cleansing. You can eat some, you can get some psyllium husk or whatever. So you could actually arrange um, some kind of schedule accordingly, with using these energies, or also looking at when is the moon in which sign. So it will also be helpful, especially if you do moon magic, or you go but you observe the moon. So it'll be very important what sign the moon is in, and then you can use like when the moon is in Scorpio, you get to use this Pluto energy more. Um, so like I said, certain planets, Pluto and Uranus, also in the birth chart, are very prominent energy. They're giving energies. Neptune, on the other hand, where Neptune is in your birth chart, things are dissolving. It's absorbing energy. Neptune takes away energy. And of all the transits that would cause like chronic fatigue or extreme fatigue, it would be Neptune. Neptune can be involved, or you have Saturn and Neptune on your Mars or Sun, so that could make you really, really tired. So you might have some fatigue problems here. Neptune also creates weakness in the body, swelling in the body when you have Neptune in transit. Neptune will also influence your glands, what's happening in the endocrine glands. It has some sort of effect on that, and it'll make your body more swollen. So that's Neptune. It's very weakening. Your muscles are not as strong anymore, for most people at least. It could also be the other extreme with Neptune. You can also experience the other extreme. But for most people, I think Neptune transits, especially on Mars, it will make you more tired. It will make you have strange dreams. Yeah, you're more pulled into the underworld with Neptune. Pluto also pulls you into the underworld, but it's another energy. Pluto is also more grotesque. Neptune is more gentle, but Pluto can be very grotesque as well. Pluto rules Scorpio. Scorpio used to be ruled by Mars, or is ruled by Mars in Vedic astrology. So Pluto is more of a masculine energy. I would say Neptune is more of a feminine energy. And so yeah, so you can use this information and think about healing. What part needs to be healed, and here the planets can help you. And it's actually not finished, and some of you might be wondering, I've not talked about Chiron or the nodal axis. I'm going to make a separate video, at least on the nodal axis, um, and maybe on Chiron, although I have not studied that much about Chiron, but that's also a very important one, the wounded healer. But this is about all the planets. This was the healing energy of all these planets. And I hope you got something out of it. Let me know in the comment section what you think and if there's something you would like to add. Take care.